his attention to detail, you know, his powers of observation. You can feel it when you're being directed, and you can certainly see it in the finished product. You know, the work that he does, or that he does together with, say, with Ron Sanders, his editor. The shots he selects, obviously in terms of editing, but the way the first movie that we did, History of Violence, that was key. You know, the transitions between the two personas, you know, they're very, very subtle. And a lot of directors, even if they're watching closely on a monitor as opposed to with the naked eye, they would miss that a lot of times. But he doesn't miss anything. You know, he's seeing just a little, you see a little flicker, a little movement, a little something that goes, you know, that happens in your face, and he would know that that would be just right. So if you're working with a director who's less observant, there's a risk of doing a little bit too much to make sure that they see that there's a transition happening and that they use it, and then you see the finished product, oh, actually, I really shouldn't have done that much. It really needed much less, certainly in a close-up, for example. And the great advantage of working with someone like David is that he sees those things and he takes care of them. He looks for them, he welcomes them, you know, and he uses them. And that was true in Eastern Promises also, but any role, really. I mean, even in A Dangerous Method, which, unlike those, the first two movies we did, the character speaks a lot, but there are nuances in the tone of voice, and, you know, whether his ego is feeling under threat or whether he's defending or attacking. It's just slight little inflections of voice. It's not just in, you know, in nonverbal expression, but also in vocal. You know, and in this movie, there's a lot of different ways that Spader responds to, say, Elias Koteas' character. You know, as he gets to know that person, you see his body language changes, and the way he speaks changes subtly. It's not just that, which he was, that James was very brave and that, you know, everybody was all in for the movie. But there's a transition that I was watching with James making as he's at first a little bit back, and it's also the way you're filming him. He's becomes more comfortable in that world, and he gets closer. And he gets closer in tone and then body language too.
I mean, I've acted a lot in small roles in a lot of movies, and of course, Viggo, I'm looking forward to next week when you will, of course, apply all those wonderful director things.
Yeah. Essentially, I'll be getting revenge all day long.
Just remember, I will be wearing the gloves. But
I certainly hope so. Tomorrow as well.
As an actor, I realize, and I was doing it before I was acting, but you really want to know that you're being observed, that you really want to know that you're actually being watched. Now, you might think, of course, you know, especially with monitors now, which we didn't have in the old days, but now you're watching on a monitor. I actually like monitors because you're seeing only what the camera sees. Whereas if you're trying to see the actual actor, you're not seeing it from the right, the same angle as the camera, which in the same lighting and everything else, and you're worried about tripping over the lights and stuff. Now you're watching the monitor, you're seeing what the camera's really seeing, but you can still not see. You can still not observe. And because there's so many things that a director's worried about, aside from just that performance. And an actor knows when he or she is not actually being observed in detail and feels that he's on his own, you know, as you say, and maybe, as you say, maybe exaggerate this a little bit, and just in case. And, you know, so once you know that you're actually being seen, you can relax and leave that part to the director and then just do the acting.